Hello Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, and welcome to your reading. So Cancer, today we're going to go over your energy as well as your person's energy. So with that being said, Cancer, let's get started. Ooh, I do like your energy. This to me screams progress. So let's look at the, let's just focus on the Eight of Swords really quickly here. So it kind of looks like there was like a lot of overthinking on your behalf. So much to the point where you didn't really give yourself permission to embrace something honestly amazing in your life, which does feel like a relationship. Now, this connection here between you and this person, it is very evident to me that it caused you to overthink things a lot. It caused you to worry a lot. It caused you, to feel, not so safe and secure to allow yourself to just go there, emotionally speaking with this person in particular. But this to me feels like you finally giving yourself that permission to do so. So you're pursuing this connection between you and this person without fear and or hesitation. It just kind of looks like in the past, due to you overthinking absolutely everything when it came down to this person, it kind of prevented you from pursuing this, connection here with this person because there was so much fear and hesitation there. But you're finally giving yourself that permission to go there with this person and give this person, this relationship, your all. And you know what, whatever happens, happens. I just kind of feel like fear was essentially stopping you from giving this person, your relationship with this person, your all. I think that your overthinking ways was also kind of preventing you from giving this person, your relationship with this person, your all. But that's starting to become a thing of the past. I feel like the primary reason also too why you didn't really allow yourself to go there with this person, yes, it does have a lot to do with fear, but it has a lot to do with the whole but what if, I do give this person and, my relationship with this person, my all, and then this ends up happening, or what if that ends up happening? And I think that that was something that you were constantly considering over and over and over and over and over and over again when it came down to your relationship with this person in particular. And not only did you start to notice how it was drastically affecting you in a very negative way, but it was also drastically affecting this dynamic here between the two of you in a very negative way. I just think that you're realizing that when it comes down to love, yes, it is definitely, a gamble, but playing it safe does more harm than essentially, good, is what you're essentially realizing within your relationship with this person. How does this person currently view this relationship? Okay, so we have the Page of Swords to the Nine of Swords, and then we also have the Judgment card out here. Okay, the bottom of the deck, we do have the Lovers, and then we also have the Queen of Pentacles. Kind of looks like this person has been honestly waiting, for you to essentially change. Yeah, they've been waiting for you to change, and it looks like it's finally going to happen, Cancer, where you're gonna start to finally change the way that you go about your relationship with this person. This whole, let me not do this because what if this happens? You're not gonna be doing that anymore. Let me not give this person my relationship, with this person my all, because then, what if this happens? You're not gonna have that type of belief in our mindset anymore. And because you had that type of belief and mindset, not only has it affected you greatly, but it also has essentially affected this person, as well. This relationship had them essentially feeling like they were basically paying for somebody else's mistakes. So you could have been this way with them and within your relationship with them because somebody did you wrong in the past, and maybe you thought they were going to turn around and do you wrong, because this relationship truly did have them essentially feeling like they were paying for somebody else's mistakes, and they thought that was extremely unfair, especially because they're very committed and devoted to you and what they share with you. So the fact that so the fact that you didn't really allow yourself to go there, out of fear that they're going to do you dirty just like the last person did. They thought that was extremely, unfair because they didn't do you dirty. You know what I mean? So they don't necessarily feel like they should be receiving this treatment, from you. But like I said, that's something that's definitely changing on your end. How does Cancer currently feel? So we have the Four of Swords, we have the Six of Pentacles, and then we also have the Hierophant. Because you're deciding to proceed forward in this relationship without fear and or hesitation, and you're also not allowing past traumas and or experiences to continue to haunt you and or affect you everywhere that you go, you're going to start to notice a significant change within your energy, and you're going to start to notice a significant change within their energy, and also a significant change within the relationship. So things are about to change between the two of you, but it's about to change for the better. Now, I almost want to say this to you now, before it comes out, because I have a feeling that it's going to come out. So let me just say this really quickly here. I don't know how long you've been doing this, as far as like, let me play it safe, let me not give this person my all, because what if this happens and what if that happens? I don't know how long you've been doing this. Maybe you've been doing this for a very long time. You know what I mean? I don't feel like this is somebody fairly new that you just met. I do feel like this is somebody that you've been dealing with for quite some time now. So you could have been doing this for quite some time now. That's definitely a possibility. But it takes 45 days to create a habit, and it takes 45 days to break a habit. So I want you to be very realistic with yourself, and they need to be very realistic here when it comes down to you changing as well. It's gonna take time for you to do away with this bad habit of yours, okay? That bad habit of, well, let me not give this person my all, because what if they play me? I'm not gonna do, I don't want to give this person my all and then they end up playing me. And let me not do this because what if they deceive me? I don't want to do this, that, and the third for them, and then they turn around and deceive me. I don't want to do that. Like, this is a mindset and or belief that you've been having for quite some time now, possibly. So it's going to take some time, for you to fully break out of that mindset, fully break out of that belief. So just be realistic with yourself, and the journey, because the potential for you to break out of this habit and this, belief that you have, well, let me not do this because, what if they play me? I don't want to, go through this because I know that they're going to play me anyway. So let me not do this. Let me not do that. Like, this is going to take some time for you to, officially break free from. It definitely is. So if you notice yourself falling back into that belief, falling back into that mindset, just understand that it's perfectly normal. It's perfectly normal. You've been doing this for however long you've essentially been doing this. So to break out of that bad habit, it is going to take some time. But don't get discouraged is basically what I'm trying to convey to you, is don't get discouraged. If you do find yourself falling into that mindset, don't get discouraged and start beating yourself up like, I guess I'm never going to get over, I guess I'm never going to get over this. I guess I'm never going to stop thinking this way about them. And I guess I'm never going to stop being this way. Like, don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. What you're going through is perfectly normal. You're breaking a habit. Okay. You're breaking a habit. All right. You're breaking a habit. How does this person currently feel? Okay. So we have the Knight of Swords, we have the Eight of Cups, and then we also have the Nine of Wands. The bottom of the deck, we do have the Two of Cups. Your way of being, right? Like I said, has truly affected this person, greatly. It has affected them mentally, spiritually, as well as, emotionally. I am definitely getting that. And they're kind of, reaching this point where they just feel like they just can't take it anymore. And it's hard when it comes down to you because of the amount of love that they have for you and the attachment that they have, with you and this dynamic that they share with you. So the attachment that they have with you, and what they can foresee themselves having with you is what keeps this person fighting from the looks of it. But it is definitely getting to that point where it is starting to become, a little too much for this person to bear and or handle, is basically what I'm gathering. And they just want it to stop, is basically what I'm gathering. So, like I said, I do see you drastically, changing, and I do see you drastically changing for the better, which is ultimately going to benefit, you in the long run. It's going to benefit them in the long run. It's going to benefit this dynamic here between the two of you in the long run. At the end of the day, the only thing that this person has been trying to convey to you all this time is they're not here to play these games with you, okay? They're not here to play you, betray you, deceive you, waste their time, and then waste your time in the process. They ain't here for all of that. This person's at that stage in their life where they just want to, like, settle down, with somebody and just simply be happy, and you're the person that they want to do those things with. All this extra things that you think that they're out here doing, or they're doing this behind your back, or doing that, but they're not doing all of that, okay? They're not doing all of that, and I feel like they've been trying to get you to see that, understand that, and they've also been trying to get you to see and understand that this way of being is truly affecting them on a soul level, on an emotional level, on a mental level, and possibly even on a physical level, because it could be causing this person a great deal of stress to the point where, yeah, it could very well be, affecting this person, physically, because when we're under a great deal of stress, it could start to affect us, physically. We start to like, some people, when they're under a lot of stress, they break out a lot. Some people, when they're under a lot of stress, they start to like drastically lose weight. They start to lose sleep. What else? Their hair starts to fall out. Don't know if I mentioned that either, but this has been, becoming a little too much, I would say, for this person. I don't feel like you mean to show up in this way or cause this person, so much stress and stuff like that. I just kind of feel like it's one of those things where you thought, you know what I mean, by being this way and functioning this way and operating this way, that you were protecting yourself and making the journey easier for you. But I think that you started to kind of like, eventually realize that by you playing it safe and let me not do this because, what if they play me and what if they deceive me, you know what I mean? And, proceeding forward within your relationship with this person with so much fear and hesitation, it's not really doing anybody any good. It's not doing you any good. It's not doing them any good. It's not doing the relationship any good. It's not doing any good here. If anything, it's all it's doing is causing harm onto you, your person, and the relationship. So I think that you're kind of like realizing, proceeding forward within your relationship with this person with so much fear and hesitation, and placing restrictions upon yourself, like, let me not do this because, they're probably going to play me anyway, so let me not do this, let me not do that. Like, it's not really doing anybody good here. You know what I mean? This relationship, it requires you to do something that's very challenging and very difficult for you to do, which is to put your trust and faith, in someone. And that's not an easy thing for you to do from the looks of it. It's definitely not an easy thing, but I think that you're essentially realizing that you're either going to continue to proceed forward in this relationship, having your doubts, having your reservations, having your fears, placing restrictions upon yourself because, what if they play you one day? You don't want to really turn around and give this person your all. Like, I think that you're realizing, Cancer, that being that way is far more stressful than just putting your trust and faith into this person and then, fuck it, whatever happens, if some shit goes left, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Until then, I'm not going to worry about this, I'm not going to worry about that, I'm not going to think about this, I'm not going to think about that, because you're stressing yourself out over something that may or may not even freaking happen. You see what I mean? So you're spending all of this time stressing and worrying about, but what if they do this to me down the line, and what if they do that to me down the line? It's like, and that has yet to essentially happen. So then there's that too. You see what I mean? So it's like you're stressing yourself out over something that may not even freaking happen. You know what I mean? So I think that you're starting to kind of realize that putting your trust and faith into a person and having the mentality of, whatever happens, happens. If something does go left, God forbid it doesn't, right? But if something does essentially go left, you'll cross that bridge when you get there. But you're not going to worry yourself to death day in and day out. You know what I mean? Until the day comes, if in the event it actually does come, you see what I mean? And you're going to start to notice yourself more at peace, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. You're going to start to notice a positive change. I like this. I like this a lot. I like this a lot. So we have the Knight of Cups, we have the Nine of Pentacles, and then we also have the Five of Swords out here. I like this. And this is kind of why I said what I said earlier. You're breaking a habit, and it takes time to break a habit, okay? But I think that you're doing a wonderful job, because even though I do see you making that significant change as far as just simply putting your trust and faith into this person, and whatever happens, happens, you know what I mean? And if something does happen, God forbid, you'll cross that bridge when it gets there, but you're not going to worry day in and day out until that day comes, if the day even does come, you see what I mean? But we do kind of see you experiencing some, negative / intrusive thoughts. I am definitely getting that, but I do see you kind of checking yourself like, nope. I'm not going to entertain it. I'm not going to dwell on it. It's as if you're instantly snapping yourself out of it. You're instantly snapping yourself out of it. You gotta, and that's another thing too that I see you kind of reminding yourself of. You've been caught up in a vicious cycle here where you constantly find yourself thinking the worst, about this person, just to find out you ain't got shit to do, to worry about, which is a good thing, right? It's a great thing. But I do see you experiencing this intrusive thought, which is something that you've experienced many times before, is kind of what I'm gathering. And nothing ever came out of it. Nothing ever came out of it. You know what I mean? It's not like you caught this person doing it. Nothing ever came out of it. So you're kind of like, when you do find yourself experiencing this intrusive thought, it's like it's like you're reminding yourself that it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time because nothing's going to come out of it, because nothing has been coming out of it. You see what I mean? So you're not going to find yourself feeling tempted to go on a scavenger hunt. You're not going to find yourself wanting to even go on a scavenger hunt, because you've been down the scavenger hunt road time and time again, and nothing has came out of it. You see what I mean? Nothing has came out of it. So I do see you kind of like, reminding yourself it's pointless. It's pointless to go on the scavenger hunt because nothing's going to come out of it. It's pointless to dwell on these negative intrusive thoughts because nothing's going to come out of it. None of these negative intrusive thoughts that you tend to get come true, is basically what I'm gathering. So instead, it's like you're picking and choosing how you want to live your life moving forward and who you want to be. And the moment you get these intrusive thoughts, you could be that type of person that goes on a scavenger hunt like you typically do, or you could be that type of person that dwells on that intrusive thought so much to the point where you start to essentially believe these intrusive thoughts, and you start to really think, oh, this must be really, really happening, even though it's not happening. But then you start to think that way. So in the future, I do see you deciding, do I really want to be that type of person, or do I just want to put my trust and faith, into this person? And whatever happens. And if God forbid something does happen, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But do I really want to sit here and go on a damn scavenger hunt? And you're going to choose not to. You're going to choose to do things that are actually productive, that are actually beneficial, like practicing self-love, for prime example, focusing on something, that brings you that sense of joy and happiness into your life, whether that be spending time with your family members, spending time with your friends, doing an activity that you actually enjoy doing and love doing, things of that nature. You're just choosing to not be this old version of yourself anymore, is basically what I'm gathering, which is really, really nice, because it just goes to show that you're making progress. What actions? Okay, so we have the Chariot to a Three of Swords to a Two of Cups. I do see this person deciding to proceed forward within this dynamic that they share with you. Are they hoping that things essentially change and get better? Yes, but do they think, because the swords represent our thoughts and tarot, okay? Do they think it's going to get better? No. They don't, but can we really blame this person for thinking that way? No, we can't really blame this person. I mean, this kind of looks like this has been an ongoing situation, between you and this person. So if this person is used to getting this version of you over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, naturally, they're going to think they're going to continue to get this version from you. You know what I mean? But you're making the choice to not be that person anymore. You're making that choice to not be that person anymore. I think that you're also realizing it doesn't really matter how much you want to worry and stress over but what if they're doing this, and what if they do that to me? What if they do this to me? What if they do it? When a person's going to do something, a person's going to fucking do something. I'm pretty sure you've heard that many, many times before. But it's not just a matter of putting your trust and faith into this person. It's also a matter of you putting trust and faith into yourself, that if in the event, God forbid, something does happen, you could be able to essentially face it and overcome it. And that's something that I do see you essentially learning as well, is putting trust and faith into yourself, because all of this truly does start with you. If you don't have trust and faith in yourself, that you could be able to overcome certain things, you're always going to find yourself feeling like you're never going to be able to withstand this or withstand that. But yeah, you have to put your trust and faith into yourself first, which I see you learning essentially how to do. And then, I see you putting your trust and faith into this person, but you got to put your trust and faith, into yourself. You are somebody who has overcame a lot of things that you yourself didn't necessarily think that you would ever be able to essentially overcome, but you did. You know what I mean? And those are things that you need to kind of remind, yourself of, Cancers, that you have been through a lot, but you overcame every little single thing that life threw in your direction. You know what I mean? So God forbid, God forbid, if this doesn't essentially work out between you and this person for whatever reason, have trust and faith in yourself that you could be able to overcome it, because you got to understand too, it's like, you're not the only one that's in a vulnerable situation right now. Like, they could easily lose you and it could greatly affect them, but they have trust and faith in themselves that they could be able to withstand it and overcome it. And that's something that you need to learn how to do, is to have trust and faith in yourself, that no matter what life throws in your direction, you're going to be able to overcome it, because your survival rate, you know, is 100%. You've survived everything life threw in your direction, every single thing, even things that you never thought that you would overcome or survive. Like, you overcame it, you survived it. You see what I mean? So don't stop believing in yourself now. Don't stop, you know, having faith in yourself now. Like, if anything, your history and all the shit you've been through, you out of all people should have nothing but trust and faith in yourself. But the thing is that you don't, and that's why it's so hard for you to have trust and faith in this person. That's why it's so hard, because when you have trust and faith in yourself, it's easy to put your trust and faith into somebody else. You know, when you love yourself, it's easy to love the next person. You see what I mean? It all starts with self. Okay, it all starts with self. But I'm not worried about it, because I feel like not only are you going to learn to have trust and faith within yourself, you're also going to learn to have trust and faith within, you know, them, and things will essentially get better. All right, so that's what I have for you. Hopefully the reading helped. Hopefully it resonated, and I will see you guys in your next reading. Bye.